During the American Civil War, children would be required to write a number on a piece of paper, fold it up, and put it in their shoe. And this allowed them to swear. What was the number and why was this done? And one more time for you. During the American Civil War, children would be required to write a number on a piece of paper, fold it up, and put it in their shoe. This allowed them to swear. What was the number, and why was this done?
Not where I thought that sentence was going.
No, that was a constant set of unexpected words there.
Now, it is worth remembering that the high five was not invented at this stage.
It is
do need to remember
off the
that.
table.
That's right. Nothing
That
to do with high
cannot be the
fives.
answer.
The number might be 5, but that's not why.
I immediately went to those online things. I love reading those on the internet that I don't know if they're real urban legends or whatever, of children in the US writing letters to soldiers overseas, and a soldier opening up a letter from a child, and one of the ones that went around the internet was just, "Hello, I hope you don't die."
Kids, they write the darndest thing to soldiers.
Now, I am not on the right path, obviously, because my brain's like, you write the number down, so if the kid gets lost, you can just phone the parent. You can just pick up the telephone, you know, that thing that exists at the time. Just pick it up. So I'm going to, handball to someone else to chime in some thoughts.
My next nomination is that we come up with some Civil War era swears.
I remember reading something about how swearing changes over time, and it was about Deadwood, the TV series. So Deadwood is famously filled with like modern profanity. They talk like they're in the Old West, but there's a lot of F-bombs in there. There's a lot of really modern swearing. And they were trying to make it as authentic as possible. And originally they were using Old West swear words, which were things like tarnation, which would have been offensive back then, would have been horrible. And it just sounded so corny that they decided to update the swearing to make it feel authentic to the audience, to make it feel blasphemous and profane in a way that makes them not sound like Yosemite Sam from Looney Tunes.
Core blimey.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been God blind me way back when. That's where that comes from. It's a minced oath.
On that God, I did think, I wonder if it did have something to do with some kind of religious link, some kind of, when you said you're allowed to swear, some kind
The
of
other meanings of swear.
pre-approval of, you've done your confession. Here's your receipt. You've earned a couple of naughties.
Or to promise. Sorry.
I said do 12 Hail Marys, but you did 14. All right, you got 2 swears.
That's right.
Someone somewhere is just getting ready to hammer a treatise to your door with a nail there, Julian. I'm not entirely sure that's how that works.
Okay.
Do we think that the war part had anything to do with this, or is it just a coincidence that that's the era?
Well, I was thinking it might be swearing allegiance to someone rather than swearing with profanity. That it might be part of some ritual or some rule that not conscripted them, but meant they were definitely on one side or the other.
Look, I will say the war is important.
Okay.
If there was no war, this would not be relevant.
Be no shoe numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No numbers in shoes if there was no war. And I will say as well, you're right to be thinking about different forms of the word swear.
What other forms are there?
You were very close, like swearing allegiance, not quite, but that sort of vein of
Swear an oath, swear a, yeah. I think you are onto something. Is it you've done some kind of assessment or check, you've signed up for some cause, and you're swearing a commitment to one side of the Civil War, perhaps?
I mean,
The children?
the number's almost like your barcode check to say, you're pre-approved.
long shot, Bill. How about it's the number of siblings you have?
I will say, and this is inadvertently saying no to the number of siblings.
Okay.
For everybody who did this, for all the children who did this, it was the same number.
Oh.
That absolutely threw out my last thought.
Mm.
The same number.
If we knew the number, would it be obvious?
If you knew the number, it might be. You'd be pretty much on your way there.
Interesting.
Got the same number. Because these are kids, it's not the number where they like something triggered, like the age they'd be allowed to do something, or this is the time they'd be allowed.
Julian, you are getting closer with the last thing that you said. You're getting close to the idea.
Okay, no, it was the idea that maybe it's a time or a trigger at some kind of point, like Like when they become an adult, when they become...
But it's all the same number, right?
Well, when do people become an adult?
Their age?
Yeah, something about age of majority, the birthday that they hit that age of majority, things like that. But
Oh! Wait, were some of these kids lying about their age? The same way that folks in the First World War would sign up and claim they were 18 so they could go to war because they would want to be patriotic.
Oh, but Tom, they're not going to outright lie. They're swearing an oath. So how do they get away with it? They're not going to lie, Tom. They would never technically lie. That'd be unchristian of them.
They'd be saying
what?
something like, I'm 18, down to my feet. And then the number 18 is written on the feet.
You're so close. If you can figure out this pun, there is an 18 on a piece of paper in their shoe. So what do they claim?
On my soul, I'm 18.
That's pretty good, but it's not
good.
quite right.
That's real good.
That is
Well done.
that is good. That is good. It's not quite right. I'm not going to classes. Look, the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do, and class is not dismissed until you can tell me the pun
how about
that all
this
these
one?
children made.
I am above 18.
I will give it to you. I'm over 18. So the story here is children wanted to join the war. It was the Civil War. What else were you going to do other than join the war? But of course, if you're under 18, they wouldn't let you enlist. And you had to swear truthfully. And so for people who didn't want to lie, didn't want to incriminate themselves, they would put a piece of paper in their shoe that said 18. And when asked, how old are you? They would completely coincidentally say, I'm over 18. Fun fact. Some of the war stories are a bit harder to get like a full, like, is this pure apocrypha or are there any cases? But there is one registered, like, recounted, case where it happened in terms of voting, where in an election, someone had put 21 in their shoes in 1833. H.N. Horan had put the number 21 in his shoes and sworn, I'm over 21, so he could cast his vote. And that is a documented case.
When you get an image in your head, just say, picture a Civil War soldier. You don't picture like a 16-year-old little language troll.
Yep.
Yes, so underage soldiers, most of whom I will say served as musicians, as drummers, or medical assistants, just trying to help out, not actually go to war, who still wanted to enlist, would put the number 18 in their shoe so that they could truthfully swear they were over 18.
The Lateral book is now available for pre-order. Just click on the link to get all the details.